ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. We are discussing Katha Upanishad, first chapter, Prathama vallI, and we stopped at 21st or 20th shloka. So we were discussing about two boons. Now it's about the third one. देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सतं पुरा नहि सुविज्ञेय मनुरेष धर्मः अन्यं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्व मोपरोत्सीरति मा सृजैनम्. Which says, Yama said, even the most ancient gods are doubtful on this matter. It is not easily knowable. Its nature is very subtle. Choose another boon. O Nachiketa, do not insist on this. Do not hold me to this. So he was asking about Nachiketa. When a man dies, there is doubt. Some say he still exists, and some say he does not exist. I want to learn about this from you. This is my third boon. So basically, he is asking for Mrityu Rahasya. And so first, Yam says, no, ask something else. Because even gods, devas, are doubtful. Gods even cannot know about it. So uh, for a 12-year boy, it's going to be extremely difficult. So he says, no, don't ask me this, ask something else. देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सतं किल त्वञ्च मृत्यो यन्न सुविज्ञेयमात्थ वक्ता चास्य त्वदगन्यो न लभ्यो नान्यो वरस्तुल्य एतस्य कश्चित्. Nachiketa said, O Lord of Death, you say even gods are doubtful here, and this is not easily knowable. But another teacher like you is not to be found, and surely there is no other boon such as this. Now Nachiketa praises Yama. There is nobody else can teach about this. You are Lord of Death. Who else can teach this? Who else can I ask? You are in front of me, so who should I ask instead of you? And there is nothing else to be known. I mean, Mrityu Rahasya, knowledge of death, what happens after that. What else do we need to know? We talk about all these, right? Gods, Brahma, Parabrahma, Paramatma, many different things. But what is real is our death. And that death, what happens after that? Nobody knows. Even people claim, Rishis claim they had Atma Sakshatkar or they had Paramatma Sakshatkar. But they never said that I encountered death and this is what happens after that. There are certain Upanishads which talk about it, but not as clear as other subjects or other matters. Vedas, they don't talk about Mrityu, what happens after Mrityu at all. Krishna said a little in Bhagavad Gita what happens, and but the real process of death nobody explained in detail. I'm forgetting the name of the Upanishad, but I think that is the later version of Bharatiya Darshan. It's not part of the major Upanishads, the 10 or 12 we claim. But here Nachiketa clearly asks, so what else should I know besides knowing the Mrityu Rahasya, knowledge of death, what happens after that? And you are the right person. Who else can teach me? शतायुषः पुत्रपौत्रान् वृणीष्व बहून् पशून् हस्ति हिरण्यमश्वान्. भूमेर्महदायतनं वृणीष्व स्वयं च जीव शरदो यावदिच्छसि. Yama said he still wants to lure Nachiketa into something different. So he says, choose sons, grandsons, who may live 100 years, herds of animals, elephants, gold and horses. Choose the expansive sanctuary of the earth and live here hundreds of years as you like. Ask me anything else. What you can ask? Sons, grandsons, hundreds of years of life, gold, horses. Horses were considered dhana in those times. So horses and cows. Ask anything. Ask a vast land that you can rule and live hundreds of years. So he's trying to lure Nachiketa into that. Don't talk about death. Let's ask about something else. एतत् तुल्यं यदि मन्यसे वरं वृणीष्व वित्तं चिरजीविकां च महाभूमौ नचिकेतस्त्वमेधि कामानान्त्वा कामभाजं करोमि. If you can think of any boon equivalent to that, choose it. Choose wealth and long life. Choose the entire spread of the great earth. O Nachiketa, I will make you the enjoyer of all desires possible. Ask something else. Don't ask me Mrityu Rahasya. Don't ask me what is death. Ask something like this. Choose wealth, long life, entire earth. Ask anything. You can, I am here. This is third boon. So you could ask me anything else. ये ये कामा दुलभामत्यलोके सर्वान् कामान् शदन्तः प्रार्थयर्स्व. इमा रामाः सरथाः सतुर्या नहलद शालम्भभि या मनुष्यैः आभिर्मत् प्रत्ताभिः परिचारयस्व नचिकेतो मरणं मा अनुप्राक्षिः. Whatever desires are difficult to attain in the world of mortals, ask for all of them according to your wish. These fair maidens with their chariots and their musical instruments, which are not obtained by mortals, ask and they will attend to you. I will grant it all to you. But O Nachiketa, do not ask about what happens to a man after death. Ask me all these apsaras with musical instruments, anything that ordinary mortals cannot ask. Ask me any prosperity, any material things that you can ask for, and I will grant you. But don't ask me about death. Now here the word Manushya again is used. So Manushya, Manu Rishi, we are all from that lineage, Manu, and that's why Manushya. स्वभाव मर्त्यस्य यदन्तकैतत् सर्वेन्द्रियाणां जरयन्ति तेजः अपि सर्वं जीवितमल्पमेव तवैव वाहस्तव नृत्यगीते. Nachiketa said, even tomorrow's state of affairs eventually perishes. In the end, all the glories of the senses are worn out. All lives are short. Therefore, keep to yourself your chariots, your dance and music. Now, Nachiketa is becoming a little aggressive. He says, whatever you said, if I ask, eventually they'll perish. If I live hundreds of years, eventually I'll die. Say I live for 500 years, but what after that? I'll die. You are going to give me gold, horses, and the whole world. Eventually, that will also be gone. I'll be old. I cannot enjoy all those. So, what's the use? Keep your chariots, keep your musical instruments with you. I don't want them. So, he is now little blunt and straight. न वित्तेन तपर्णीयो मनुष्यो लप्स्यामहे वित्तमद्राक्ष्म चेत्वा जीविष्यामो यावदेशिष्यसि त्वं वरस्तु मे वरणीयः स एव. Man cannot be satiated with wealth. I can proclaim my wealth only as long as I do not see you death. I can live only until your command allows it. Therefore, my boon is the only one worth choosing. Now he is rationalizing. Why I say that? Because eventually nobody can be satisfied with wealth. Even billionaires eventually are not satisfied, because once they achieve the wealth, what next? That always comes to everybody's mind. We think of, okay, I want to have the most luxurious car, I want to have the biggest home, I want to have this much money in the bank. What after we get those? We are thinking about something else. So any desire of wealth eventually is not going to be satisfactory. And what happens? As long as you allow us to live, we'll enjoy. Once you say, that's it, we are done. So it's your command. Until then, everybody can enjoy. But what after that? So this is the only boon one must choose and ask. अजीर्यत ममृताना मुपेत्य जिर्यान मर्त्यः कदस्थः प्रजानन अभिध्यायन वर्णरति प्रमोदान अति दीर्घे जीविते को रमेत. Having approached the undecaying and immortal, which decaying mortal standing below on the earth will long for music, play and pleasure. What enjoyment can he find in a long life? Now, let's say if Yama one day says, you become immortal, I will not give you death. What happens? After say 150 years, somebody leaves. All his or her friends, families, they are already gone. New generations have taken over. The world is no longer the same, which he or she grew up with, which he or she lived with. Things keep changing. And that immortal person may not feel deemed fit with whatever is happening around. So eventually, he or she will be fed up. What are they going to do with immortal life? I mean, we hear a lot of stories. Unless and until somebody has devotion, we know about Chiranjivins. But out of all those, all were devotees of God. They had bhakti. But Ashwatthama is said that uh, even though he was Rishiputra, he had some degree of ignorance. So even if he is immortal, he doesn't feel living that life. And he always begs for something different in the life. I mean, these are the stories. Whether he really exists or not, we don't know. But people who do parikrama around Narmada, they talk about this. That they encounter Ashwatthama. And Ashwatthama always asks for uh, some something to satiate him. So with immortal life, what one is going to do, nobody knows. And Nachiketa, being a 12-year-old boy, he doesn't know even life fully. He does not have that devotion yet. So he's thinking, with immortal life, what am I going to do? Everybody else are going to perish. यस्मिन्निदं विचिकित्सन्ति मृत्यो यत्सामं पराये महति ब्रूहि नस्तत् यो अयं वरो गूढमनुप्रविष्टो नान्यं तस्मान्नचिकेता वृणीते. O Lord of Death, tell us about that which is a mystery, and that which is about the great hereafter. Nachiketa does not choose any other boon, but that knowledge which is hidden deep within. Now Nachiketa has given us some hint. This is mystery, knowledge of death. What else to be asking for? He says this knowledge which is hidden deep within. That means whatever is within us, deep within, knows the this mystery of death because it has gone through death and birth of bodies. So there is deep within something which knows this truth. So Lord of Death is kind of a boundary which stops us from having this knowledge, some kind of boundary. So once we cross that boundary, when we go deep within, we get this knowledge, is what Nachiketa is hinting here. So this is Prathama vallI. Yes.
I think hint is also that
It is. Yes, indeed. Because I think we talked briefly about that this is part of Ashtanga Yoga, that Yama is itself whatever penance, whatever constraints you put into practice, a discipline, that is Yama. So that is a starting point. And once you start going deeper and deeper, it's where hidden. So uh, this is Prathama Valli. Now the second Valli, second chapter. Now Yama is talking about it and what it is, whether actually Katha Upanishad, whoever the Rishi is, name of the Rishi is not written here, but I assume it could be Nachiketa himself because he was a Rishi Putra. I didn't look at the reference in Vedas, but every sukta has name of a Rishi. So I'll find out which Rishi has written this. Anyat Shreyo Anyaduteva Preyasте Ube Nanarthe Purusham Sinitah Tayoh Shreya Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati Hiyate Athargya Upreyo Vrunite. Yama said, there is one path which is good, while there is another which is pleasant. Both have different objectives, and both bind man. Blessed is he who chooses the good path amongst the two, but he who chooses the pleasant one loses his way. Now, Yama said, the knowledge is deep within. Actually, Nachiketa said that, but Yama said there are two different paths. One is good one, and the other one is pleasant. So, good does not mean it will give you, it will be a pleasant one. It will be full of awkward situations, something strange. The one is pleasant one, but he clearly says both bind the man, meaning whatever path you choose, good or pleasant, you are going to be bound by karma. But one who chooses the good path are blessed. So he says, don't choose the pleasant path. Now we can interpret that if we look at our body, we have two paths to reach the 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 guhya, the deep within, whatever it is. We say that there is Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi. So using those two paths, we can reach the ultimate. Now Surya Nadi is considered Ugra. Chandra Nadi is little calm, peaceful, but it makes one lunatic. Surya Nadi is Ugra. It's uh, it gives you unpleasant heat if you follow that path. but you can tolerate that by applying various things physically. And there is third path, which is Sushumna. Now, whether that is hinted here, I'm not sure. Yama talks about choosing the good path, not the pleasant one. It could be avoid both these nadis and directly go to Sushumna. Now, Sushumna, the experiences are very profound. It is, it gives you different experiences which one cannot understand what happened, and that's why the guidance of Guru is important at that time. One who has gone through that path. If we discard this concept that it is about this nadi and chakravedan, then what are the two paths? Good and pleasant. Meaning, when we follow Ashtanga Yoga, as simple as follow the truth, Satya, very difficult to achieve. If we want to speak truth all the times, it can harm others. It can harm our relationship with others. It will make us unpopular. And that's why Rishis say sometimes, Satyam vada, Priyam vada. Asatyam ma vada, Apriyam ma vada. Speak truth, but at the same time, it has to be Priyakar. Uh, somebody would digest it. Say that truth. If somebody, the other person, cannot digest it, don't say. So following Satya all the time is very difficult. Second is Asteya. We do not want to steal. Steal meaning, say somebody possesses physical object, that's one thing. But if I steal somebody's idea, that is also stealing. And we have seen that around us. I mean, the society is such that I think more than 90% is all about stealing. So when I talk about Upanishad, when I talk about the concept, if I do not name the person who originally gave it, I am stealing. That is asteya. If I don't give due respect to whoever first written or discussed, I am not following asteya. So it's very difficult to do. Aparigraha. Don't possess anything in excess. Again, very, very difficult to do. At physical level, we possess many clothes, ornaments, many things inside our house and our life. That's one thing. But when we achieve something in life, that can also make us generating that notion of uh, being excessive. Say I achieved something, I keep telling everybody, hey, I have done this. I mean, in the modern world of social media, we publish everything that I did this, I did that. All the platforms know about it. All the people who we know or know don't know, they all know about our achievements. Again, that is, we say that uh, this is the world of marketing, so we must market ourselves. Why? That's what the Rishi is asking. Anything in excess is aparigraha. You are not following that. So if you achieved something, consider the achievement of all these rishis. We even don't know their names. If we take just one book, Rigveda, there are hundreds of rishis who contributed to all the suktas in Rigveda. Just one name, Irimbithi Kanva. You might not have heard his name. Nabhaka Kanva. You might not have heard his name. Meaning all these names, Trita Aptya, Dvita Aptya, all these rishis, they contributed to Rigvedas, but we don't know their names. So people who have achieved such thing in their lives, who influence us till after thousands of years, if they do not claim, if they don't market themselves, then who are we? Some 10, some 100, some 1,000 people know me. That's it. And how am I going to influence them? So I must not be excessive. Whatever I have, it's a blessing from God. Anything that I have done something different is again blessing of God. And if I don't give that due respect, I'm not following up Parigraha. So following Ashtanga Yoga is very difficult in today's world. So that's a good path, but following it is difficult. Now pleasant path. Pleasant path, if we compare, we know that many rishis, many gurus have done Shaktipat. And by Shaktipat, a student gets to know, the disciple gets to know the truth. But after that, what? We know the guru, we don't know the Shishya. That means even after enlightenment, Shishya lost the way. So even if his path was pleasant one, his path was quick, he might have lost it. Another way we can say, Guru's grace helps one achieve something in life very smoothly. Say our children. Uh, as parents, we nourish, we nurture, we protect our children. But once they are in their own life, there are two distinct things they'll experience under protection of parents versus their own life, their struggle. So when they feel the struggle, uh, their path is going to be the real one. Under parents' protection, they are hidden from many truths of the life. So even the path is pleasant one, it's not good. They must be ready to tackle the world. They need to find their own path. So it could be that also. Let's say if there is a hint further.
Is
Yeah,
it possible? It's a question. A lot of people.
true.
So people swear by those that psychedelics
Right.
this, and that is shortcut.
That is a shortcut. Yes.
And versus
Yes.
this is hard working.
Very true. Very true. So it's a very good example. I compare it with this way. I have a bus. I don't know how to drive. So I turn on ignition and keep driving. Versus I learn how to drive and then I drive the bus. Two persons or the same person without learning and with learning. Whatever he or she is going to do with that bus is what the psychedelics or those drugs do. I mean, they give us experience very similar. They both describe things which are very similar. But the experience with drugs is short living and it has detrimental effect. But with proper channel, proper path, when one achieves those experiences, they are long lasting or everlasting, and they are for upliftment. So yes, two different paths.
Just pleasures.
But that does not take us to the knowledge.
So he said two paths to knowledge.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And both bind the man.
That was the other question I had. So
Right.
binding, we are supposed to not have any karma bound to us.
Unless we reach the topmost. See, in Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna asked the same question. When I follow the path of yogi, what happens next? If I achieve ultimate, that's fine. I'll be liberated. But what if I cannot fulfill that goal? Then Krishna says, you will be born as a yogi and you'll continue where you left off. Or you'll be born in a family, a wealthy family, where you can enjoy all the fruits that you achieved so far, and you'll become a bhakta. So even if I walk the good path, if I do not reach my ultimate goal, I am bound by the karma, and my next birth is going to be like that.
Ultimately, you should not be bound.
If you reach the goal, only then. If we do not reach the goal, until then, we'll be bound and we'll be in that cycle. And that's what is said, right? So until we are liberated, liberation does not mean we go to some different loka or something like that. It's a state. Once we achieve that state, there is no more birth or death. I mean, it doesn't matter. But until then, all the karmas we do, bad karmas, good karmas, they are going to bound. And there is a very good story Ramakrishna Paramahansa told about this. That one person was walking through a forest. In the forest, some dacoits, they grabbed him. So the dacoits are like tamogun, tamsik. Now they tied him with the rope. They took everything. So they were tamsik. But out of those dacoits, one said, okay, we took everything. Let him go now. So he is like a rajogun. The rajogun ultimately lets us lose. Okay, you are free now. Then out of them, one said he is in the forest. He was passing through. We took him to a different place. How is he going to get out of this forest now? So let me go along with him and take him out of the forest. So that is satgun, sattvic gun. Once that person reaches out of the forest, sattva gun stops there, dacoit stops there. That means till then, even sattva gun binds us. Sattva gun comes with us. Once we cross that forest, we are liberated, then nothing binds us.
But until there was another story
Jada Bharata, right?
there, until he was getting bound,
Right.
he was not able to get. Even he takes pity on the
That deer,
deer.
right, right.
So even that caused him to not get liberated.
Yes, because he was attached. Even though at one point he was liberated, right? But his liberation, again, liberation is a state. It does not take us to a different world or locus. We still remain where we are. It's a different state, but it does not guarantee that we'll remain in that state. Uh, so when we say uttishtat, jagrat, prapya, varan nibodhat, unless we reach the goal, keep working. But once what happens or what one should do after reaching the goal? Still keep working. Otherwise, you'll be drawn back. It's just the state. So Jad Bharata is a very good example of that. That even he was in a different state, he could come back, and that's why I think the path of Rajavidya or Rajaguhya Yoga, that is, uh, it is not clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, but the parampara of Rajvidya, Rajguhya, or Siddha Yoga says that once you reach your ultimate goal, you live in this body for 21 days. That means uh, our exposure to the rest of the world is only for 21 days. So we do not get bound by something like that, like Jad Bharata had to. So we have very limited time. If we live longer after achieving liberation, and if we are not of that stature, we'll be bound by something different. And ultimately, that will take us back to the different or previous state.
Once you are liberated, then you don't want back.
No, no, no.
That is
That is what they are saying. Once you are liberated, you still need to keep working to keep your state.
Until you die.
Right.
But after that, there's no rebirth.
Right. Then there is no rebirth. But you have that opportunity, or there is a possibility that you can be bound by something else. You can be attached. And Jad Bharata had to go through that.
So here he's saying walking the good path also binds you.
Yes.
So you're still accumulating karma when what?
Yes, because you haven't reached the liberation. So till then, you'll keep accumulating karma. But once you reach that state, your karmas will be gone. It's like a storage. You keep gathering energy, lot of energy, and at one point, that energy will be so enormous, everything will be blasted. The storage will be destroyed. That means the karmas are gone. And I think it's a very similar process happening also. I'm not sure where that information is stored, physical body or subtle body, but that subtle body carries all the information is what is said. Now that where it goes, I mean, I haven't experienced that yet, but it is said that it is kind of a form of a body which is a thumb size, which is called Karan Sharir, which resides within our navel area, Navi, and if it is burnt, the the chakra, Manipuraka chakra, it is governed by fire, Agni. And that Agni, if it is so enormous and it destroys this Karan Sharir, it burns the Karan Sharir. The Sharir is gone. That means your karmas are gone. But the seed, even though it is burnt, seed still remains. So you need to throw away that seed ultimately. If you don't throw away that seed, there is something still remained. And that can get you back. So we need to go through the whole process. We need not stop once we reach or we achieve Atma Sakshatkar or enlightenment. We cannot stop there. We must work in getting rid of that seed, burnt seed, because seed is still there. I mean, this is again experiential stuff. So one has to go through all that. I think there is an answer here also. श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतः तौ संपरीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः श्रेयो हि धीरो अभिप्रेयसो वृणीते प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमाद् णीते. The good and the pleasant thus bind man, but a wise man can discern which is which. The wise man chooses the good over the pleasant, while the foolish man chooses the pleasant for the sake of material welfare. This could hint to siddhis. Once we walk along those paths, we achieve many siddhis. Like we can read mind, we can know the events happening around us or in the world. So these are all siddhis. One can wish or think of something and achieves. So like Ravana, all these siddhis, one uses those siddhis in material welfare. And the wise person knows that this is not the goal. So he or she is not going to spend these siddhis, will contain within. So we'll keep working towards the ultimate goal. Now, why it is called unpleasant? Because there are many things that happen around us. So one, when we look at a lamp, the diya, it is bright, it has flame, it has ghee, slowly it burns. The ghee is lessening and lessening. Ultimately, ghee is gone. The wick remains. That wick now has bigger flame. So that bigger flame is the last state, and that has more heat. It can even burn greater area around it. So when we are on the path to enlightenment, we are choosing good path. Our ghee is gone. I mean, we don't have anything left to use, and we burn ourselves. We burn things around us. Whatever we do, our actions can affect people near and dear to us. So there is a action and reaction that is going to happen, and it is physical in nature, it is in mental also in nature. So one has to keep patience, keep working towards the ultimate goal, and that is the wise person. सत्वं प्रियान् प्रियरूपांश्च कामान् अभिध्यायन् नचिकेतो अत्यस्राक्षिः नैतान् शृङ्कां वित्तमयी मवाप्तो यस्यां मज्जान्ति बहवो मनुष्याः. O Nachiketa, you have renounced desire and desirable objects and forms. You have not chosen the path of wealth in which many human beings perish. So it was kind of a test for Nachiketa. Yama was asking him, hey, don't ask me knowledge of death. Take this, take that, I'll give you everything. So that could be the test for Nachiketa, that whether he chooses a pleasant path or a good path. दूरमेते विपरीते विषुचि अविद्या या च विद्यते ज्ञाता विद्याभिप्सेननं नचिकेतसं मन्येन त्वा कामा बहवो अलौलुप्तन्त. Know that these are different things indeed, false and impure non-knowledge or ignorance, and true knowledge. I believe Nachiketa is one who wishes to obtain true knowledge, for even many objects of desire have not caused greed and longing in you. So Nachiketa is worthy of knowing this knowledge. Meaning, if we want to go deep within, it's not enough. We must choose the good path. We must get rid of lobe, greed, and longing for other material things. Again, this is yam niyam. If we follow Ashtanga Yoga yam niyam, this is what it is. So uh, discipline, and there are many things written for yam and niyam. And if we follow that, that's the first step, and that first step makes us worthy of going deep within. I think we have some 15 minutes if you want to discuss something or want to keep going. Or Nitin, if you want to say something.
I want to discuss what we about efforts. We ask for some steps.
Right.
Sunil said there are no steps. We had the conversation.
Right.
Maybe it's hidden, and then we had this discussion. Maybe we do need to do some cleanup of our
Right.
house
Right.
before the guest comes in. When guest comes in, or desire of guest coming in is also.
Right.
So coming to today, what's the opposite of liberation? Is attachment. No attachment, then you are liberated.
Right.
So what is the attachment?
Right.
And that's. But I wanted to the effort wise because I mean some efforts are needed.
Right.
But it's like this. If someone born blind from the birth, what efforts will you take putting what colors are?
Right.
Can't take any.
Correct.
What would you? How would how would we trace them, the beauty of classical music?
Right.
We can't. It's impossible. There's no steps. It just hopefully one day his cognitive things will work and he'll understand. That's what I was
Right.
thinking. That this is different dimension of liberation, because we are born in this thought bubble, so we don't know what it feels to be liberated because we were always attached. Hence, that's why I was saying that.
Right.
In that sense, there are no efforts, because it's not like, because all of us will say, oh, if you stay 20 days fast, then you will get liberated. All of us will stand in line because we are willing to put efforts
Correct.
to
Correct.
get there.
Right.
It's not about that.
That's a desire, and even that desire binds us.
Exactly.
Right. Desire for liberation is also a binding karma, right? And that is going to get us in the next birth or whatever. I mean, we desire something, so we'll put effort and we'll do something, and that will create action and reaction. We are not going to be away from any reactions, even desiring enlightenment. We are bound to have some frictions everywhere. So, uh, yesterday my son asked, how do you know you are liberated? Isn't it illusion of mind? Isn't your mind telling you that you are liberated? Isn't that Brahm? Isn't the prapanch of mind? And so I said, there are four parts of the mind, right? Chitta, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. So mind, the first three parts are physical in nature or subtle in nature, but they are materialistic. When we talk about Ahankara, that Ahankara does not mean pride or being that garva, right? Ahamkara means I, I exist. So that knowledge of exist, though it is in our mind, it is a prerna of something beyond, which is Atma. Atma gives this prerna to mind that you are, you exist, I exist. That is Ahankara. Even I could not express in right words. So we were discussing about one example. There is a very famous quantum theory. It's about duality. Electrons are particles. At the same time, they are waves. It is hard to digest. An electron behaves like a particle. It rotates around the center of atoms and it exhibits all the properties of a particle. But when it is put across double slits, two slits, one source passing through that and two slits, and then the screen, then it exhibits the behavior of a wave. So when electron passes through the next slits, it decides which one to go and create the interference patterns. As if electrons have mind. One electron passes through split, telling the other, hey, use this path or that path. So how a particle thinks, how a particle behaves like a wave at the same time. So physics tell us, theories, physics give us equations that in certain conditions it behaves like waves, in certain conditions it behaves like particles, and these are the characteristics, and these are the conditions in which it will behave like particle or wave. But at the same time, a physicist knows that it is not wave or it is not particle, it is something different. Even a physicist cannot claim if electron exists. See, we are made up of cells, right? We have billions of cells within us. Every cell has many, many elements: oxygen, silicon, carbon, hydrogen, whatnot. All these atoms, they have proton, neutron, electron. But when a physicist says electron does not exist, then what is our body? That body, what is electron? If it does not exist, still it exhibits as particles within our body, and under given conditions it behaves like waves. How is it possible? So a physicist's mind by experiments know that it is this in certain conditions, but it is not that, it is something different. That means that prerna, that notion is generated in mind by some other entity, and that entity is electron itself, because a physicist clearly says, if I want to see electron as particle, it behaves as particle. When I want to see electron as wave, it behaves as wave. That means electron knows what I am doing, and at the same time electron gives me that prerna, that notion that it is not wave or particle, it is something different, and it does not exist. So what is electron? So that is similar to our atma. Our atma, this is all prapanch of atma, and mind is part of that prapancha. But mind is the tool used by atma to project or to know or gather all these experiences, as if our mind does the experiments, but that experiment is given prerna by atma, just like electrons. Then he stopped. So maybe he'll create more questions now.
So, you know, use that quantum physics in our life. What it is saying is, we think that, oh, but we are just waves. It's possible that we are just waves going through that. But because we think as a matter, so we see person, Haru is sitting there,
Right.
he's sitting there, I'm sitting
Right.
here. But it is possible. This is physics, not some Upanishad, not some
Right.
something
Pure
that we are
physics.
just saying
Right.
mystery. But
Right.
even physics thinks that we are just a field. But a field who thought identity. We are just a field. We're just waves
Right.
going through. We are a big soup, and we say, "Oh, I'm this pea, and you are a potato, and you are
Right.
this." But it is just big thing transformation. But once we realize we are just that, that would be liberation. It's
Indeed.
like, oh my God, I'm not attached now. I have to
Right.
just do our thing. But instead of this being a part of a field, just waves, we think that this some atoms and this some electrons become swimming. He's going to live and he's going to die. The moment you understand it's just the waves, then who is living and who is dying. Again, like
Exactly.
he says, it's a experiential. We can talk about it all day long, but it hurts when somebody hurts our feelings. And as long as that happens, then there's no point of the. It's
Exactly.
just knowledge.
Exactly. Exactly. That's ahankar doing all this prapancha.
Just
So
if you have few minutes, we should talk about karma because
yeah, sure, sure.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of confusion about karma. I
Right.
just wanted to know your view
Right.
about karma.
See, even breathing is karma, right? And that is good or bad? Good for us, bad for viral entities, because it gets killed when we breathe. So we cannot live without karma. But what is karma? It is just the impression, crisscrossing of interactions of various entities, maybe physical in nature or subtle in nature. I would say it's expression of atma, expression of something that is beyond this dimension. It's like there is a, let's say, a piece of paper, and I draw a figure, a triangle. On piece of paper, all the angles would add up to 180 degrees. But when I draw a triangle 10 kilometers long, 10 kilometers wide, meaning three arms, 10 kilometers wide, on Earth, what will happen? Those angles will not add up to 180 degrees because there is a curvature of the Earth. Now the same triangle, same Euclidean geometry, it's different in 3 dimensions. In 4 dimensions, who knows what? In fifth dimension, what it would be like. So there is dimension that we do not understand, and that is influencing us. It's the prapanch of that dimension, and that is stored somewhere, and that is all karma. Now, once we know where that prapancha comes from, that means we gathered that energy, so enormous energy, that it destroys that bridge that binds us with the karmas. Karma still remains. Karma not with us, but karma is there. So that karma has to be destroyed. And that's what I talked about, that seed. Even we reach the state of liberation, that storage is burnt, but that those ashes, the ashes of the burnt seed still remains. Who is going to take care of those? So this is in terms of abstract theories, right? But when we talk about physical in nature, which we can correlate, if I slap someone, that is my free will. At the same time, it could be ignited by some past actions, past events. I'm going to hit somebody, slap somebody. So that is my karma. And I'm governed by those thought processes. Now, what will happen next? I must be ready to face that. Now, how I face that? If I'm devoted to God, I think everything is done by God, everything is for God. Then, if the other person slaps me back, I'll be fine, I'll be laughing. If not, then I'll feel hurt. I'll feel I need to do more aggressive acts. So that karma is binding me. But if I laugh at it, again, I am bound by that karma. But I am at the stage when I can be liberated from that karma. So let's say somebody did bad thing to me, and that's why I am hitting him. So if I laugh at it, if I could laugh at it, that means I surrendered to other entity, and I thought, or I did that act, that karma, knowingly, being aware of it. So I am at the stage when that notion of past event is gone from my mind. Even though it comes back to my mind, it will not create that new karma of slapping again. That means I am liberated from that karma. Even though some degree of that karma remains in my mind as memory. At one point in future, maybe that memory is also gone. That means I am liberated from that karma completely. So maybe this is not uh, the direct answer, but a process or a theory that we can use to know the karma and get liberated from it. Because karma is very complex thing in my mind, very complex. So it's better to not indulge into that, accept it, and keep working towards your goal.
I think why I asked you a question because a lot of people think that, oh, karma, good karma also we have to leave. So that means I shouldn't do good deeds. And that's not what it meant. I have a friend who is like, oh, there was train accident, 300 people died, but it's their karma. So what do I have to do with that?
No.
That's not what it
Right.
means.
Exactly.
Sat karma also we shouldn't do. That's not,
Right.
that's so we have to still God or we are put in
Right.
there, so we still have a duty to do.
Right. So that duty, karma is our duty. I mean, whatever is our duty, we must do. If we don't do that, that is bad karma. If what is my duty, if I do that, that is good karma. So we talk about Earth. Earth has gravity. Its duty is gravity. So one day if Earth stops generating gravity, it's bad karma for Earth, and it will have havoc on the world.
No, but that was what was the surprising thought for me when I heard Jada Bharat's story, that he's doing a good deed. But that is what was holding him back.
Right.
So,
but it did not matter to him, right?
But he was almost reaching liberation.
Right.
But because of that good deed,
Right.
he did not attain liberation. He had to work more to get liberation.
But was he unhappy about it? Right. I mean, our story tells us he wasn't unhappy. He wasn't unhappy with God. He just thought, okay, I need to get rid of this work. That's all he did. He did not say, oh, I did good deed. Still, I am not liberated. He did not. He did not become fearful of that. He just worked towards removing that karma. That's all.
The karma, what you're saying, the karta needs to be gone. If you say karta, I feel bad, sorry for you, and I need to help you, then that I is doing things. And unless you have maybe, that's a suggestion or idea, that the I creates the problem. We never get liberated because liberation happens because I should die. Then who is liberated? If you tomorrow somehow something happens accidentally, people get liberated. If you get accidentally liberated, the Sunil is gone. Even though there is awareness, he has to
Right.
come and do his duties, but there is no I am liberated because leaving of I should be liberated. Again,
Actually, that's what Krishna said, right? Surrender to me and do all the work for me. If you can't do that, do your work as if you are doing it. But then all the results or all the reactions offer to me. So my slapping example, that some past event created that action in me. Now, if I am doing it, then whatever reaction I get, it will create new karma. If I surrender that action, that event to God, then I'll laugh at it. That means I did some good karma in reaction to that. But that good karma put me, even though it bound me, it put me into a path, a good path to liberation, to path getting liberated of that karma. So we must do good work. But which good work? Krishna says dharma. What is your dharma? Do that. Now, what is dharma? What is dharma? So, dharma of earth is gravity, holding all of us. If it stops doing that, that's adharma. So, we must find what is dharma.
Oh, what is dharma in the typical sense is clear. Your kartavya as a son or all that
Right.
is clear.
Right.
That's your duty.
Right.
But like what?
No, but as a person,
now he came across a train accident.
that's what I'm saying. What is my action being an individual? See, my action for my wife, my action for my daughter or son, that is all good. That is given. But what as a person I should be doing? Do we know?
human being.
And they are governed by social norms, first of all, some degree. Like our family, there is society, the society we live in. If I learn something, I must teach others. If I did something good, I must share with others. If I don't do that, that's bad karma. That is written in our shastras. We don't follow that, that's different thing. But if I earn something, I must give back to society. If I I'm earning, right? That that wealth comes from society, somewhere else, somebody else who I don't know. So I must give back to society. If I don't do that, that is my adharma.
What do that, but without getting attached to the
Right.
actions.
Do it for God and offer the reactions to God. You are just the medium, you are just the tool, chosen tool of the God. And that's why you must do good karma. Good that is in reference to society, in reference to nation, in reference to your family, in reference to the earth, the human beings. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukh bhag bhavet. What is better than that?
So even you do good or bad, offer to.
Right. So that is the beginning point. If you start doing that, if you practice that, eventually you will be doing more good things. Society or for your family or for your nation, and even for yourself. but that good thing also binds you. That means it does not get does not put you out of the bondages. And that's why the story of those thieves or dacoits, right? Dacoits tied you, took everything from you. One dacoit let you loose, and sattva gun, your good karma, took you out of the forest. And that's why you must do good karma to get out of the forest. But then again, at, at that boundary of forest, you need to leave everything. That means once you reach that boundary, whatever you do, that karma does not bind you. But that does not mean you stop doing karma, because even breathing is karma. You cannot stop your breathing, right? So you'll keep doing, you keep accumulating karma. You cannot stop it.
Yeah, not helping train accident people is also karma.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes, and that is bad karma. Because what, as a human being living in a society, you must be doing? Saving others, right?
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I'm going off tangent. So there was another incident, like these people went whale watching in
Right.
some place
Right.
in the sea. So there they were seeing mother whale with baby,
Right,
and then they were getting attacked.
right,
It was happening right in front of them.
right.
So, but then you're not interfering there, right? You don't feel, so so sometimes it feels, should you be doing that? It's happening in front of you, but there are like millions of such incidents happening around the world every day.
And that's why you must follow what is your dharma. See, a lion running after a deer calf. Are you going to save that calf? Is that good karma? Or you let lion kill that calf and eat it is a good karma. At that point, it is not your dharma to interfere, right? Jivo jivasya bhujanam. If lion does not kill that calf, lion eventually will die. That calf getting killed, getting eaten by, it's its karma. As an observer, you are just an observer. But if it were somebody you know, or some human being, you would try to stop it. You would try to save that child. If you don't do that, as a human being, you are doing a dharma. What is your dharma?
But in both cases, the lion is just doing its what
Right.
nature dictates. it
And
to
that's
do.
why what is your dharma is important.
But if deer is stuck in the mud, then you would, and you are crossing by, you might interfere. That is your, so knowing what your dharma is important. Like if lion is eating, because lion has babies to feed, so you cannot interfere that. But if the poor deer is just stuck in the mud and you can't take it out, then you can do that.
Okay.
So you must decide what is your dharma at that point, right? And who can guide us? Dharma, Shastras. So our Shastras state certain things. If we read, we can know what is our dharma. Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, right? Arjuna, what was his dharma at that time? If he did not kill his great grandfather, he was doing a dharma. At the same time, is it good that he had to kill his great grandfather? So we are always given that choice, and our viveka, our buddhi, based on our scriptures, shastras, or our practices, will tell us what is our dharma at that time, and we must follow that. If we don't follow, that is adharma, and it will keep us in the forest.
Yeah, I think the question came from, sometimes it's tough to know what the right thing
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
is.
and that's why do everything for God, offer everything to God is the easiest thing to do. That will save us from good karma and bad karma. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate